Hi, welcome back. I hope that you're doing well. This is a requested, get a little more comfortable here, sorry. This is a requested video that I have been asked to do by several people, and it is to do a video of my foundation collection. I have quite a bit here. Now, there's one here that's just a primer, so that takes some space, and I have some extra sponges. But the rest here are powders and foundation, and the only powder that I don't have here is my Mineralized Skin Finish Natural that I use quite a bit to set my makeup or just put it in the T-zone where I tend to get a bit oily. And I don't use that every day, but I have it in the color medium. So that's the only thing that I forgot to bring out here. And I will just start talking about each of these foundations and how I use them, what I like about them, maybe what I don't like about them. And I'll just start with a BB cream. This is the only BB cream that I own right now. I have tried some in the past that just didn't work for me. This one is fairly well on me, and so I keep it. And I don't use it a lot, but I have it for when I want to use it. This is the Missha Perfect Cover BB cream, and this is in the number 23, and this is the one that has the pump out there. Now, first of all, let me say about the product. The product is a very nice product. I like to use this as a primer and then sort of a tinted moisturizer. And then what I will do is I will put some of my Mineralized Skin Finish Natural all over my whole face, lightly dusted on top of this. And it makes for a nice summertime if I'm gonna be outside for a long period of time. Now, technically, I'm not supposed to be in the sun because of the lupus that I have. I have photosensitivity, and that means that I am allergic to the sun, so I break out in rashes. But if I wear this with the high SPF 42 PA+++, I won't break out in any rash or get any darkness on my face from it. So this is a good protectant if I'm going to go to Disney World or something like that. The only thing I would say is that it's a tad too dark for me, but when I put the powder on, it lightens it up, and if I buff it really good into my skin, it's okay. I think that if I got the shade below, which I don't know what number that would be, it might be a little too light because I've seen the color range, and this was really the closest. And like I said, this is in the number 23. Now let me just tell you quickly, once again, the kind of skin that I have, and that will help you too when I'm talking about the foundations. Okay, first of all, I have highly sensitive skin, and I'm mainly sensitive to ingredients that are in products, and like colorings and stuff sometimes. Now, even though I am highly sensitive, I can wear MAC foundations. They do not make me break out, and one of my very favorite foundations is a MAC foundation. So it's sort of strange because a lot of people do break out from MAC, and I have very sensitive skin and I don't. So now, as far as the texture of my skin, I do have some scarring and a little bit of larger pores in certain areas of my face that I'm trying to work on. But sometimes the scars, they stay there, and that is from like acne when I was a teenager, maybe picking on something that I shouldn't have. And I do have a new little scar here that's forming because I had a little problem there and I wasn't behaving myself and I picked at it. Okay, so as far as like if my skin is dry, oily, something like that, I have normal to combo skin, and usually in the summer it's a little oilier in the T-zone. Very rarely does it go into my cheeks. My cheeks usually stay drier. In the winter it will be about the same, except that my cheeks and the perimeter of my face are really dry, and then the center of my face is a little bit oily. Now when I say oily, I don't mean where I have to keep blotting. I can actually get away with not blotting throughout the day, and if I have a good foundation on that lasts, I don't need to touch it up at all, because the oil that seeps through doesn't make my face look greasy. So I'm pretty lucky with that, but like I said, my skin is sensitive. Okay, let's get on to the next foundation. Okay, the next one is another one of my favorites, and it's by Bourjois, and this is the Healthy Mix. Now this is the old packaging. This is one that my dear friend here on YouTube sent me in a swap, and then recently I purchased a backup because I really like it. I love the texture of this. I love the way it goes on. It's very blendable. It lasts for hours and hours. It gives my skin a sort of satin slash matte finish, but not too matte. So that's why I said satin. It does have a pump. I am all for the foundations that have a pump, and my number in this one is number 53, and it's light beige. So that's what I have in that. Now another one that is good is the Makeup Forever HD, and this is the only foundation that I have that when I use it, I can get a little bit oilier than normal. So I have to make sure when I use it that I do carry powder with me just to touch up in the areas that oil seeps through. And I am in the number N120. And I don't really have anything bad to say about this foundation other than it may make me get a little oilier than the other ones do. It goes on nice, lasts a long time. Now it doesn't last as long as the Bourjois, but it lasts maybe like about 6 hours before I have to do some type of touch up. And once again, has pump. Love that. As far as coloring, these two foundations, and then I have a couple more, fit very good to my coloring. I don't have to do much blending, so that's that with that. Another foundation I have now, I have a lot here and I purchased them all. None were sent to me by any companies. I just love trying foundations out. And I do have one drugstore right now because I've been really doing a lot of testing of higher ends. Okay, the next one is Laura Mercier Silk Cream, and I am in the medium ivory color. This is a very nice foundation. It has a no SPF in it, so it's good for taking photos. There's no flashback. It's the same with the Makeup Forever, no flashback with that. This foundation is a little thicker. I have to remind myself when I use this that I just use a little at a time, and with this one I like to work in areas, and I usually start on this side and then just go around my face. I don't like to dot it all over and then blend. It works better for me to just work small areas, blend, and go on, and then do my whole face that way. It feels a little bit heavier on my face when I first put it on, but that feeling goes away. But it's nothing terrible where I have to take it off right away. And it's just an all-around nice foundation. I usually wear it more in the winter because it is thicker. And like I said, my color is medium ivory. Okay, the next thing is a foundation that I bought when I was on my vacation in Chicago. And this was recommended to me by my sister-in-law. And this is the MAC Studio Sculpt. It has an SPF of 15, and it's another creamy foundation. It is a little bit heavier in texture than the Laura Mercier Silk Cream. So I really need to wear this in the winter. Now, I was able to wear it in the 80-degree weather in Chicago because the humidity wasn't as high as where I live. In Florida, we have like semi-tropical humidity and really high. So I tried to wear this when I came back, and it didn't make my skin feel very good. It was very heavy on me, and I know it's because the humidity was very high. So I will save this for winter time too. Now my color in this is NC25, and I really like the way this goes on. It blends very nice, and I have heard things about people really hating this foundation, and I know to each his own, but I don't hate it. I think it goes on nice. It covers beautifully, and it made my skin just feel sort of like I had a skincare product on my face. So I like that a lot. Like I said, this is not for when the humidity is very high. Okay, next foundation is NARS Sheer Glow, and this foundation is a very nice one. It's a little yellowy for me, but I work with it. My color is Punjab, and there's no SPF in this, so this is another one if you're taking pictures or you're in a wedding. This is very nice because there will not be any flashback. For me, it lasts a long time. As far as hours, I would say anywhere from 6 to 8 hours, depending on what I'm doing. It gives me a nice finish. Although it's a little matte for my taste, I still like the way that it looks on my skin. The only thing too is that it is very similar to the Makeup Forever, where I will feel a little bit more oil on my face with this one. But it's nothing that I can't, just ignore or check in the ladies' room or wherever and just kind of blot with powder. It's not something that is bothersome, but still I wanted to tell you I do feel like a little bit oilier in the summer. In the winter, I don't feel anything from this. This is very nice. Okay, here's a drugstore foundation, and it's the only drugstore foundation that I have right now in my collection. This is the Revlon Color Stay. I'm sure you all know this. Only drawback with this is no pump. My shade in this is the, can't read it, and then they put it in white writing, so you really can't read it. It's number 180 Sand Beige. Now, I used to use the natural beige, but in a weird way, I don't know if it's the medicines I take or the, it's sort of like a chemotherapy treatment that I'm on. I think it's making my skin a little more yellowy or maybe golden, and so I can't use the natural beige anymore. The sand beige is the color that works the best for me. This is just an all-around good foundation. Only drawback for me is that it doesn't have a pump, and otherwise it goes on very nicely. I get the normal to dry formulation because the normal to oily, even though I have a little oil, feels very heavy on my skin and it's harder to blend. This one, even though it's normal to dry, it works out better for me. And nothing else much to say. It has an SPF, but it's not very, or maybe it doesn't now, I don't know. Let me check here. Yes, it has an SPF of 15, so I guess better than nothing. So that's the Revlon Color Stay. Okay. The next foundation, or actually the next two foundations, are from MAC. And the first one is the Studio Fix. And this is the Powder Plus Foundation. I just bought a new one. My color in this is NC25. I can use a C3 too. Not C3 too, but I can also use C3, but this one is a better match. I like this for when I'm just kind of kicking around or maybe going shopping. It provides a very nice coverage for what I want to cover, yet I feel like my skin can breathe through it, and it doesn't ever get real dry looking or cakey. I like to put it on with my kabuki brush, and then I do keep the sponge in there for tiny touch-ups. And then what I do with these sponges is that when they start to get a little bit dirty, I will wash them, or I will purchase new sponges. And just as a little tip, if you use a product like this or this product, Sonia Kouchak has replacement sponges that fit inside here perfectly, and they are there's no price on here, but I know they're much cheaper than the replaceable sponges that you can get at MAC. So that's a little tip for you there. And just an all-around nice, I like it better in the summer. In the winter, I will use it sometimes if I want to have a perfectly flawless look. I'm going someplace very special. I will put one of my other foundations and then just lightly go over areas that need extra coverage with this, and I am set. it will be perfectly flawless, or as flawless as I can get. Okay, and the next one is a foundation that I go back to all the time. I've been using this for many years. I would say a good 15 years maybe longer. And I first started using this, and I used to use it with the MAC paddle foundation brush, and now I use it with my Real Techniques buffing brush. This is the Studio Tech. And if you'll forgive me for 1 second, I need to take a drink of water. When I talk a lot, I use so much of air, and then my throat gets all dry. Excuse me. Okay, so like I said, I go back to this all the time. It is a nice cream to powder foundation, but it's not a heavy powder, and it looks actually creamier on me than powder. I like it because it is made for sensitive skin. It has a high content of water. It's very blendable. This color that I use is the NC27, and what that is it's a combination between the NC25 and the NW25, and this, believe it or not, is a perfect match on me. It looks much darker in the pan. When you put it on and buff it, it's just a perfect match for me. I just like it. It provides a great coverage. There's never any flashback. I don't think it has an SPF, so that's why I like to use it for special occasions. I probably would say if I could only pick one foundation, this would probably be it, because I could make this either very light coverage or very heavy coverage. And you might say, well, why do you have all the other ones? I'm addicted to foundation. Okay, so that is it for the MAC Studio Tech. And once again, never has made me break out. Never. Okay, the next one I have, and the next four are by Chanel. And this is the Chanel, this is actually called the Double Perfection Lumiere. And this comes in the nice mirror, and it has a sponge that I have not used for it. I don't think I have, no. And then a nice amount of foundation. I have never used this on its own. I always use this over another Chanel foundation very lightly. But this is actually made as a powder foundation, and I probably will try it someday as a powder foundation. I guess when I'm in the mood for a powder foundation, I do reach for the MAC Studio Fix because I really like the way it feels on my skin. This is just really nice. It gives good coverage. It's a really nice match to my skin. It works really well with basically any foundation I have, especially the Chanel ones that I have, and it helps to just give better coverage. So I like to take it with me and put it into my handbag to use for touch-ups. It has a nice mirror on there if I want to check my lipstick or eyeshadow or whatever. So very nice product. And people say that it has a scent, but I don't really smell it that much, and if it does, it doesn't bother me at all. Okay, the next Chanel foundation is the Perfection Lumiere in the liquid form. This has a pump. This is a nice foundation. It has pretty good coverage. It's not perfect coverage, even though it says Perfection Lumiere. I can get better coverage with my other foundations, but I do like it. It has a sunscreen, a broad spectrum SPF of 15. It's called a sunscreen makeup, and it's long wear flawless fluid. As far as long wear, for me, I don't think that this is long wear, because I like, let's say, I get better wear from my NARS Sheer Glow than I do the Chanel Perfection Lumiere. But it just has such a beautiful look. Once I put it all over my skin, it sets to sort of a satin finish on me, little mattish but more satin, and I just like the way it looks on my skin. It doesn't feel heavy. I do feel it on a little bit, but it sort of feels like it's like a cream on my face, which I don't mind that. So that's that one. Now the one that I'm wearing today, and my lighting isn't the best, but this is the Vitalumere Aqua, and I've had this for about a year now, and I like this one for summer. It gives a nice light coverage, yet it covers everything, which it sort of surprises you because you think that it would be sort of like a tinted moisturizer, but I really think that this covers pretty well. You know, it doesn't cover everything like, let's say, the Narshir Glow or the Revlon Color Stay or even the Bourjois covers more than this, but it gives my face a nice sort of light powdery finish, and in the summertime I like it. I have not used this in the winter. In the winter, I think it's a little drying for some reason. I don't know why, but that's just for me. And my color, I didn't tell you, in both of these is beige 30 or B30. And so that's that. Now I do have one more foundation, and this is also by Chanel. And this foundation is the Vitalumere Aqua Cream Foundation. And it opens up like this. You have the mirror, and then it has the little cover. And then that's what it looks like. This is a nice foundation, but I can honestly say that if and when I ever use it all up, I won't purchase it again. To tell you why is sort of hard. It's one of those foundations that I don't particularly like as much as my other ones. Maybe if I never tried these, I'd like this, but I tried other things and I like them better. It's sort of hard for the application for this one. I've tried it with my beauty blender. I've tried it with my fingers. I've tried it with a regular flat, like paddle style foundation brush, my Real Techniques buffing brush, and still I have to work a little harder to get this to look nice. Now, once I do, it looks very nice, but I guess what bothers me is that I have to work harder. And when I'm doing my makeup, I would rather take the time to do my eyes and do them really nice. I want my whole face to look nice, but my concentration, I'd rather have it on the eyes. So I like to use a foundation that doesn't take a lot of work to make it look nice. And this one takes a little too much work for me. So that's why I don't like it. So those are my foundations in my collection. I just like to try new ones. I'm always trying to find like the perfect foundation, and I've come to the realization that there is no perfect foundation. It really depends on your skin, how it is doing that day, the weather, where you're going, how long you're going to be there. If you feel like you have a lot of time to get ready, if you want to take that time, you know, it really just depends. So that's why I keep all these and I use them for different reasons and just keep trying. So I hope that you enjoyed that. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And I'm also going to, I was going to do a tag that was going around, and I was tagged by Mirinda from the Barbie with a Muscle, or Barbie with Muscle. I always forget your name, I'm so sorry. Your YouTube name. She had started a tag with the foundations and the colors, but I've told you my colors in this, so this is sort of a combo of that and then the requested video on my foundation collection. I hope that you enjoy this and that you're doing well, and that's about it. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.